Hey guys, welcome to this video. Thanks for tuning in and sharing in this now moment with myself and with one another. If you haven't seen these videos before, welcome. Welcome back if you have. My intention is unity and oneness and the highest levels of love light. I want to go into a little light language and a little flow and just kind of share some of the energies in this expression and see where this takes us. Me, a little bit of water here. Okay. So just taking a deep breath in, dropping into the body, feeling where you are right now. Are you in your body? It's always a good place to start. Some people say, of course I'm in my body, otherwise I wouldn't be sitting here. Sometimes I am all over the place. I'm in other dimensions. I'm in my imagination, and I have to recognize, rein it back in, pull it back into the body. I have a sense that this is going to go into a little talk about our extrasensory abilities. So we'll see where this goes. And we use these tones to wake up the senses. We use the sound to wake up the senses. We use these modes, if you will, of transportation to transport the energy from one place into another, all within the same space. The same placement, if you will, in the architecture that we sit within. For this is a jungle, if you will. It holds within it a jungle gym, many tools of accessibility to play with, many keys, many different references, if you will. I'm seeing all kinds of things as I'm saying this, so I'm just a lot of energy coming in today. We invite you to play in your own jungle gym, in your own way. For as you allow yourself to sing, as you allow yourself to play, it lights up your field. It lights up your space. It lights up your ability to feel into the space that you are sitting within. Not only inside of the skin, but outside in the region of the field in which you are reaching out into. Kuait I makuat inikiwaha ishtuaha makunitine. And while this is not necessarily a form of adaptability, we are here to inform you in this form that we are adapting into more of a higher resonance, a higher tune, a higher tunability. The abilities have expanded for us to tune into a higher adaptation of our reality. Our skin suit, our technology, our body is part of that reality. For without this, we would not hold space in a conscious reality, or better spoken, a conscious mode within this ability to communicate in this mode of transportation. So I'm just seeing the body is our vehicle. And if we didn't have it, we wouldn't be able to communicate the way that we can. Obviously, we would be communicating another way. And many different frequencies and abilities are coming online. That of telepathy, that of lost languages spoken into this reality, pulled from ancient dialects that have been lost in the shuffle, lost in the jungle, if you will, and they are being excavated and revealed in this lifetime, in this experience, in this expression. Therefore, we are combining within this fluid, if you will, this fluid of reality in this landscape, a multidimensional activity that lights up. I'm seeing, it's difficult. I'm moving in and out here. I'm seeing a crystal lattice work. And I'm seeing us being multidimensional within our own skin suit, within our own reality, by tuning in through our extrasensory ability, which is sound, vocalization. We can hear, see, feel, know with ease. Communication with our higher aspects. And as we pull this up, if you will, as we utilize this technology within our own jungle, we allow ourselves, hearing jungle juice, we allow ourselves to bring the juice, if you will, to juice it up, to allow ourselves to bite into the juiciness of life. The apple of our eye then becomes more of the why we are here. We become more of why we are here. We become more while we are here. This affects the entirety, if you will, of reality. And this no longer keeps us disconnected. It brings us into a higher advanced state of clarity, a higher clarity in a different state of advancement. It brings us into a different state, allowing us to move into advancement, to advance forward, to be more advantageous with the way in which we create the new age. New ages. We invite you to step away from the idea of what new age is, for it is no longer what has been created in the past from one perspective. We invite you to open up beyond scarcity. That's a play on words. Scarcity is lack, scarcity, being afraid, right? All of that. And we invite you to create with this new model of abundance, this new abundant model of variation, for we are in flow. We are in flux. There are many different variables, if you will, that are becoming part of the equation. There are many different differentiations that we are beginning to access. This is a play on words. Technology is up leveling to a higher degree, and we are being called to turn up the inner activity, the inner knowingness, the inner degree of sociology. And I'm also seeing a reference to intelligence, earning a degree, the heat on the earth, the heat in our bodies, the direction of which we are facing, the direction in which we are moving, the directional flow, and the varied degrees of separation. Ooh, it's kind of a play on words. Andrew Bartzis talks about the 1 degree of separation. We then line ourselves up more congruently with that which is. Play on words. We become more aware of that which is. We become more aware of what we are, and the tools that we carry within allow us to play in a different way, to light up our resource and to open to more resources, resourcing more of our own inner technology. For we have merely been told about our abilities. Many of us have been, so this is a play on words as well. Many of us have been told of our abilities, but not many of us have actually remembered them, activated them. Not everyone is able to access what they have in their own jungle. And then I'm being called to talk a little bit about a jungle. Well, what's in a jungle? Mysteries, pyramids, jaguars, right? our ancestors, indigenous people who are part of our heritage, who are part of our ancestors, plant medicine, right? Mycelium, trees, like it's a sustainable ecosystem, essentially. That's our body. And I'm also seeing a jungle gym, if not just a gym that you work out at, but if you look at the crystal lattice work and you climb up that crystal lattice work, each of those nodes that connects the ladder, okay, I'm also being shown that. Ke mai tini kwa titi ku o niki kwai ti ne ya ku hai ti stu mai niki o hai ne niki nikwa ni o hai ne niki bai hai ku nutu o boy ne. I don't always speak in this dialect on camera, so I'm warming into it. I do it a lot when I walk and record on my phone, but this does take some adjusting. And this is in reference to, I'm speaking this language, but I have to practice it sometimes, and I have to open to the flow, and I have to trust and not judge myself for the words sounding funny, right? And this allows us to play with more ways of communication. And so we may not necessarily be able to linearize the words or move them into a particular conceptualization, yet many of us can feel the frequencies that are being offered through this variation of symbols, this variation of symbology. This offers great reverence for our own ancestors who came before us, yet are also within. We invite you to offer more reverence for your own family lineage. For while you may feel a great divide and a great separation through time, from time, or even in this now time with those that are related to you, with those relations, with those relationships, we invite you to recognize that you are the ship, Noah's Ark, so to speak, that holds this configuration, bringing together the ancestors so that they may have a voice. Emotional. So that they may speak through you, so that we may share as one with one another, so that we may move past slight discords, disharmony, and we may create a new discourse, if you will, on earth now. For many do not get along with those that they see in their reality, even though they may speak in the same frequency, they may speak in the same dialect, yet they still hold conflict. They hold confliction in their heart, affliction. I'm just seeing all of this. This is a parallel to many different timelines and realities that many of us have connected into at one time or another. And we invite each and every one of us to reunite with the true essence that we are not divided, that we are, each and every one of us, united through a common thread, a common source, a community that allows us and grants us immunity from all that is no longer part of our higher conceptualization, our higher package, if you will, our higher creation, our higher version of all that we are. No longer necessarily playing in the same role of division that we once played in before. And while many of these tactics, if you will, are showing up in our reality, are showing us our reality, are showing us the false senses, if you will, I'm just seeing smoke and mirrors. And I'm seeing the division that this creates, like standing in front of someone and all of the smoke and mirrors, you can't see or feel the connection because of the lack of communication through the heightened senses and sensibilities that we all have access to. And so once again, we invite you to commune with yourself. We invite you to come back into your own community, connect in with your own archaeology, and this will allow you to dig up, if you will, the resources that have been kept within a close proximity. And I'm hearing so close but so far away. The more we do this, the more we play, the more we begin to communicate and connect in each of our own unique and individual ways, we begin to unlock these gifts. We begin to walk through these archways, so to speak. We begin to build the bridge of connection, not only to each other and with each other through this new reflection that we see within each other. I'm seeing namaste. May the light within me see the light within you. We are then able to renew this deeper sense ability. We are able to sense the deeper abilities, create more sensibility, to use more of our senses and move out of the senselessness. That's a play on words. I'm being guided to play with that. Less than sense, full of senses. Only one sense may be used. Senselessness, less than, not worthy of, right? I could play with continuing that, but we begin to reactivate, we begin to remember, we begin to procreate from abundance. Okay, play on words. I'm seeing procreation, like we're not destructive, it's constructive. We become more entropic, right? Tropic, never say that right. Negentropy, that's a play on words. I think that's a portmanteau. I might have created that word, but negentropy is a word. So we begin to create from a state of abundance and resourcefulness and heightened sensitivity rather than the opposite, the inversion, right? We begin to activate this in such a way that we're no longer harnessing a false structure, or better spoken, we're no longer harnessed to a false structure that kept us from our own view, that kept us looking into the rear view, that kept us locked into a particular wave set mechanic function. For that is dysfunction. That is no longer able, or it's no longer holding us back, and it's no longer keeping us, it was keeping us from functioning. It did not hold the higher sense of functionality. It did not allow us to function at a higher capacity. It did not allow us to, I'm seeing lock and load, into the higher frequency patterns. And therefore this distorted key, this distorted hierarchy key remains. I'm seeing a lot of play on words. Remains bar none. So I've been talking about bar none, and I'll come back to this at a different video. How do we do this? One might ask themselves or each other. How do we move from our old selves, if you will, into the new, So I was seeing people trapped in prison cells, their body cells were working a certain way, but now this heightened sensibility is causing an excitation in the cells. That's part of how we do this, is just by being present with that experience with the body. Part of this is our own time capsule that has erupted, if you will. For there are many eruptions that are about to occur, that have occurred, that bring about a certain plasticity in the age of relativity, or better spoken, it brings us into a certain phase of archaeology, better spoken even then. It pulls us out of one phase and into another, a more advanced state, a more advanced stage of receptivity. It allows us to change the crowds, change the crowns, change that which is raining down. I'm hearing Prince. No, I don't know why I was hearing Prince. Oh, Prince. Hello, crowns. Purple Rain. This is not meant to be interpreted as a fearful announcements, so to speak. This is inevitable, for the earth changes with us. We change with the earth. This is not necessarily a negativity moving back into negentropy. This is part of the process that will bring us into a more aware state of reality. I'm seeing as within, so without. And many of these earth changes are not necessarily going to create a catastrophe that many people are projecting into their reality. We are being called to remember that we hold the key. We are being called to remember that through our intended focus and our intentions, our intentionality, we then also co-create our reality. So therefore, we are being invited to step back into the heart, the true chambers, if you will, the guidance council of wisdom inside our own councils, inside of our own cellular matrix. And as all the play on words, I'm seeing count the cells. Our cells are going into a metamorphosis. It's a higher count. More of us are going through this transmutation, this transformation, this transmigration, this alchemization. And so what's happening is it's a ripple effect, right? So we're being also, so let me go back into this. This is a direct lineup to who's in charge. And that's a play on words. I'm seeing who's in spelled like something science related, and in charge, like it's a higher charge. And it gives us more distribution force. It is then able to be, the force is able to be distributed more evenly. And all differences can then be reconciled. We allow ourselves to move out of an old framework that did not support a reconciliation. It did not support the concept or the idea that we could move forward. And we now move into a more directional force. I'm hearing I am a force because I am a Jedi. The ancestors spoke of these times, and many have misinterpreted the times tables, if you will, the mathematical representation of time and how it turns the tables. Many have misinterpreted only because the old interpretations were based on old adage systems, old adding and subtraction, subtracting from the true value that was there the whole time, waiting to be revealed, waiting to reveal itself. Therefore, now as we turn to everything turn, There is a season, turn, turn, turn. So I'm seeing that everything is shifting and it's a different space that we're creating from. Therefore, everything has to change, including our own space, our own area in space where we're located. I talked about this in my Earth Changes video, and the math that we co-create with, the numbers and the attributes that we have given certain numbers must too make the shift, must make the jump. For as we create this shift, jump, hop, skip, and jump away, as we jump away from, I'm seeing jumping beans, like, and I'm hearing POP. We move into, oh, I'm seeing energy. And again, we bring it back into the combustion chambers. We bring this back into the chambers of the heart, recognizing that as our heart responds, think of, I'm seeing volcanoes. And sometimes we might be feeling heart palpitations. We might be feeling excitation of the cells. We might be feeling hot, really hot. And then just as it heats up, we too will feel a cooling. We are moving information, we're moving energy, and that which was all bound up must become disentangled. And therefore, the release that many are experiencing, that is also connected to emotional discharge and energetic plasma, if you will, being discharged from the system. This is kind of a play on words. This is also happening within the membranes of the earth, the membrane of the earth, the ventricular system is being released at what may seem exponential rates, at what may seem unstoppable, and may form for some, or some may form a conclusion about the rate of change in which the earth is moving through this diffusion, out of confusion into diffusion, but I'm also seeing something else, and I'm trying to the codes that we are all exchanging together as we interact with one another are deeply embedded within our own system. We are not necessarily in full comprehension of what is happening, of what is activating at the cellular level, but we are constantly moving through this constant state of fluctuation at a constant rate and duration from one perspective that changes our speed. And I'm seeing velocity of distortion, but I'm also seeing speed of velocity. Scientists are beginning to understand at a faster rate what is happening within the earth. Yet there are many who are slow to birth. There are many that are slow to accept this birthing. There are many, I'm literally seeing like, this is happening. And some scientists are like, no, put it back. We're not ready. We don't know what this is. And this baby is coming out and they're like, what is that? How did this happen? Sorry, you guys, this is just funny for me. Some are not understanding what is happening to our maps. Yet, of course, there is a deeper society from one perspective, or let us say a deeper layer within society that is very aware of the directive and the directional course that we are in the process of playing out, and in addition to adding to. So I'm seeing some of the processes are being played out, and they are not going to be continued, if you will, to the next play. They are no longer playing by the same rules and rule book that may have been applicable to the old dominion, for we do not exist within this dominion anymore. And as these energies intensify, we will move through a state of depression. This is a play on words. Many will come into this space of awareness. I'm seeing like literal depression, not necessarily emotional depression, but I am seeing that I'm just being called to talk a little bit about this. Like these energies, my crown is like, woo, what happens is sometimes it creates a chemical imbalance in the body. Like we can feel chemically offline. We can feel a little out of sorts, and we can see some of these things happening on the earth, and it can kind of create a feeling of insecurity within us, instability. And essentially what I'm being shown is this is happening for a reason, and not necessarily all of the people who are in charge understand that. And also there was an old paradigm that was followed, and I'm hearing to a T, so that that old paradigm could be supported. But since the old paradigm is no longer being supported for so many reasons, that no longer the rules and mechanics of the way our environment operates must also make the shift. I'm hearing hit the switches, push the buttons. And while it might feel that we are moving into a state of depression, this is only temporary, for much has been repressed. And as we allow this to move out of, I'm seeing repression, depression, integration, digestion, as we digest and allow these resources to activate the internal intuition, I'm seeing that as a big play on words also. We then allow a deeper revealing and resonance, and this harmonizes within our new access point, accessibility, and platform, dominion, domain. So everything we are experiencing is a temporary reconstruction zone. It is only necessary in order to create more stability on our own. Yet we are not truly alone. I'm seeing becoming stronger in ourselves. Like, this is who I am. This is who we are. And this is part of our journey to bring us to that conclusion. So while these changes are occurring, as we are having certain distortions revealed, as we reveal and digest and integrate certain distortions in our own field, as we feel the applications and implications of what it is that we are feeling, seeing, hearing, knowing, and coming to understand, we also release a pent-up energy. This allows us, I'm seeing pent as in 5 maybe, so it's like 5D. It's like it was held back from allowing us to move into the 5 from one perspective. And as I say that, I'm seeing a geometry. It gives us a higher ability to reconciliate that which was not necessarily something we may have affiliated ourselves with before. I'm hearing score, like playing with this, of music, of like, I'm hearing Fergie. That's not my name. That's not my name. But I'm hearing, that's not my score. That's not my score. And I don't know why I'm hearing that, but I'll probably have to go back and play with this a little bit. Oh. And then I'm hearing the word was one. Whew, like that's not my name. So there's some play on this having to do with the real letter geometries and alchemy of, but I'm also being shown don't get stuck in the score, like keeping score. Who was wrong? Who was right? I was right. You were wrong. Oh, this is, or seeing who's ahead and who's behind. It's all creating a balance, a stability. And I'm hearing a stability ball, like the earth. Still a stability ball. As I'm saying a stability ball, I'm hearing bibbity bobbity boo. Bibbity bobbity boo. Okay. Rein it in, Carrie. Kini awa ti ti stuku moai ni ti stiku ne wahai ni ti stiki wahe ti makuai stu ne atiki ne. The rising phoenix, and out of the ashes comes much more. There becomes this release of information. There becomes a sigh, if you will, a peace. My guy wanted to join in. So I'm just seeing it's a piece. I can't remember if it was a piece of what I said piece of, but it's a piece, P-E-A-C-E. But we're seeing pieces of this kind of coming together. And something about this kind of creating a togetherness. And at some point, what I'm seeing is this is going to bring us into a more peaceful stage. So I'm going to end on that note, maybe. I'm just being shown a ladder, and I'm thinking of moving up, climbing up, and essentially it's going to help us, it being these energies, it being these earth changes, it being our body changes, it being the change that we want to see in the world, it helping us to be the change and turn into this metamorphosis, Morpheus, to see more and to feel more and to express in a more universal love, of just a complete, it's like the age of Aquarius, basically, is what I'm tuning into. And this is a process. This happens in stages, yet this is going to be happening at a much quicker rate. But I'm also being shown, depending on what we focus on, our focused intent, it determines kind of how quickly and how we interpret what we're experiencing, right? If we see everything as doom and gloom, then that is going to make our experience even less compatible with the new energies that are here. And at the same time, it's going to make us less compatible with the new experience that we really want to co-create. Although there might be some people that just want doom and gloom, but most likely, if you're watching this video, you're not one of those people. But ultimately, it's this gathering of the forces. And when I say that, I see, again, this Jedi, which I couldn't explain it, but if you guys check out Dan Winter, he talks about raising the Jedi. And essentially, it's implosion. So we are, I'm hearing, implosively recognizing, reconciling our differences. And we're coming into a time of reconciliation. And it can look very messy. Putting a timeline on it, I'm just in flow right now. Putting a timeline on this does not adequately prepare us for what we're going to be experiencing. Because many of us are, I kind of see a lot of people just in shell shock over everything that's going on. And essentially, this is something that many of us have never experienced. A lot of people aren't used to experiencing this because we're working in a different medium. So really being stable in ourselves, really holding our own is, again, the message that keeps coming through over and over again. And helping one another, supporting one another, using, being the web, the mycelium, that essentially is helping us move into this space of expansion. I'm going to bring it back to what I said in the beginning of the video. I think I was talking about, I can't remember the word that I used, but when you spread out, you make yourself stronger from one perspective. Although compression can be more powerful, more energy packed into compression, but we're doing both at the same time, if that makes sense. We're imploding, we're collapsing certain things, and then expressing into a bigger container, space, field, all of the above, from what I'm seeing. So balancing that out is key, and watching what's happening on the earth and doing our best not to go into a place of non-implosion, of destruction. We don't want to go in destructive mode. We want to go into constructive mode, right? And be in our hearts. That's always, always key. So in love and light, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this adventure journey in life through these videos. Namaste.